Good afternoon, Slush. I'm Marianne. I'm the main organizer for Slush, and really excited about the session we're going to have for the next 20 minutes. Slush is all about community, and communities are all about giving back to their community. And so, if someone's doing that, it's these guys over here. They are the Nordic makers. So this is the first time they're all together, almost all of them, together on stage. There are 10 angel investors from the Nordics who have created themselves companies that are together valued at more than $10 billion, including 4 unicorns. And these guys have also invested to 100 companies before creating the Nordic makers. But now you're here together. So who are we here on stage today? So we have Eric Grenius over here, who is the founder and former CEO of Online Pizza that was sold to Delivery Hero 2012. We have David Helgeson from Unity, which was just this year. How much was it that you raised?
180 million.
Right. Then we have Tommy Anderson over there, who's the co-founder, a serial entrepreneur behind companies like Libertone, Embedded, and Tech People. Then we have Martin from Haller, who's the community guy, Copenhagen for the win. Then Hampus Jacobsen, who's
local fans,
who's behind companies like TAD and Brisk.io. And then we have Thomas Madsen Migdal, the CEO and co-founder of 23. So, should we get it started? What is Nordic Makers all about? Hampus, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, so, I mean, as said, like we did a lot of angel investment before, and when we started doing these angel investments, there was a lot of overhead being an angel investor, and you see a lot of different deals that you wish you could change the history of. So we just felt that we really want to change the Nordic climate of creating a group that tries to build a better ecosystem, to build a better thing for founders and guiding them right, but also connecting them globally. So for us, when we started Nordic Makers, it was one of those things where it came quite naturally since we'd worked together for a long time. I blanked, sorry. So here are some of the portfolio companies that we did before the investments. And, well, there are over 100. And we've done so far in Nordic Makers, we officially started in June. And we've done four since and 2 about to close before Christmas. So hopefully we'll do 1 per month, which we'll try to keep up with. And so here are the 10 makers. And the people that are not here are Alexander from Zendesk, and Lars from Sitecore, and then Klaus that did Just Eat, and then Torvald who did Momondo. So, sadly you see it's just men. We wish there were more women. Let us work with that over time. I'm Swedish, I know, I just had to say that. And then the thing we're announcing today is that we're hiring or getting our managing director, our MD, Benjamin Ratz, who's actually going to make some structure out of this mess. Because 10 angels, it's kind of like getting roosters in a cage and shaking it. But we're super happy to be able to have Benjamin. And like what we really want to be doing is we want to be investing really early, helping getting founders, they have a team, they have some traction, they have some prototypes and product, but helping them steer that right and not get caught in a local maxima. And then being actually, as we've been really there and doing it, sweating it, being hands-on and being able to be on a call. If there's nasty terms coming on an A round, angels or the founders can just contact us and we can chat about it. And then actually, as we have done a lot of investments before, we do know a lot of the A round and B round investors, so being able to do that upstream help. So that's kind of Nordic Makers.
Awesome, thank you. But then, let's get to the actual discussion. The first question for everybody, basically, is that why are angel investors important? What's their role? Eric, you want to start?
I think angels can help in many ways. And usually when you think about investors, sometimes you think about what value can they bring. And all investors try to maybe exaggerate the value that they will bring. And then the question is, what can angels bring? I think one of the things that investors really can do for you is to open doors. And experienced angels are hopefully very networked and know a lot of potential employees, customers, partners, co-investors, maybe follow-on investors as well. And as Marianne mentioned, we invested in more than 100 companies, and of course, all of them have employees, customers, partners. So hopefully what we can do is to open doors and to make introductions to the right people. We won't be able to hand you like customers on a silver platter, but we can at least make the introductions to the right people.
You continue?
Cool. David?
No, somebody else should pick this
Okay,
up.
I'll take it. I think another key issue and another aspect of this is that we live in a zero-interest society these days. So investors are looking for alternative ways to actually place, their money, which actually means that for this environment, there's ample liquidity available. But what most startups are needing is not just money. They need a network. They need access to competencies. They need people who actually done the journey that they're on before. So I think that one of the key strengths of the collective here is that we're 10 guys who've actually done what most startups are going through and will be going through. So besides just the money being poured into the companies, we actually bring something else to the table that most investors don't. I think that's a key strength of the collective also.
And these companies need like people that have created products and companies to fall in love with their products as well, right? And really care about those. And I think that's a really a strength we bring.
Yeah.
I think another area where we really want to do a difference is that we've all been involved in tons of these early stage deals before, and one common denominator is actually that in many of those deals done here in the Nordics, you get as founders shitty terms. So we want to drive the ecosystem to adopt international market terms for angel investments that are fair and balanced. And we're doing that, and we've done that already in the four deals that we've done so far, based on a document that is very much inspired by Y Combinator's document. So we're trying to sort of put up a level playing field for good startups here in the region.
Martin is the lawyer, yeah.
Martin is a startup lawyer. Like, he's done this for a long time, and he's seen the cesspool of shit terms that some of you guys have given. No, sorry. Some of the people who are not here have given companies. It's poison.
And believe it or not, one of our mission is to make lawyers have them go out of work at this stage, because we are frankly not adding value at that stage.
And I think that one of the things I personally really love with is that I think that being a founder, I don't know if you felt it, maybe it's just me, but it's like going through personal hell. And I really actually enjoy helping founders with trying to figure out a lot of their emotional things, because it is a very, very lonely situation. And I think that the difference between us and a lot of investors is that, yeah, we've been there, we've had the same traumas or having the same traumas. So I think it's much easier for us to say, when you closed your A round, you go on vacation. Like, come back in 2 weeks, let's talk then.
So I think in terms of angels, I think the key is when you really want to make a dent in the universe and really do something that changes the world just a little bit, it is a really tough journey you're on, right? And it is all about finding the others and finding that companionship of the right people along for the journey, right? And I think that's what angels is an answer to find the right angels for your company, right? For your journey. People that have been on the journey before, right? And I think that's what we've also been really driving and will keep on driving, to get good angels on board. I mean, back when I did Podio, there was no angel ecosystem to hook into. And I think it's actually sort of a failure of our former generation of entrepreneurs that they didn't provide this angel system. So now it's up to all of us this time around in the cycle to actually build this angel system, right? So what you're seeing us driving is like a company like Clue, where I wrote the first check a long time ago. It has more than 20 angels at this point, announced their B round here on this stage yesterday. We're seeing companies like Upbeat that we've also invested in, that first check from 6 months from first check. We had the co-founders of Facebook, Instagram, Andreas from Spotify as angel investors, right? Those are the types of people you want to have on board your journey. And obviously it shouldn't just be any angel, any person that has some money, but the right angel, the right people for your journey, right? The journey is about finding the others, right? Your customers, your colleagues, your co-workers, your co-founders, but it's also about finding the right people that can help you get on that journey. And we see that is really one of those things that makes or break truly great companies, and also a way we can accelerate the Nordics even faster compared to making all the mistakes that we've been on and all the long journeys we've been on that could have gone much more fast ahead.
Great.
And I think an important aspect that one of the reasons we, like when we started this, was that we started talking actually about founder values. The whole thing was founded upon us starting talking about why angel invest in the Nordics at all. At all, seriously. And then there are all these slides with great return investments and whatever, but for us it's actually for me, very egoistically, I would love my kids to be able to work here. So I would really like there to be a job for them. So part of for me it's I hope that I can give you guys money so that you give my kids job. They're just 8 and 5, so you got plenty of time to raise further rounds to hire them, but completely egoistically, that's also definitely part of my point.
I think everyone who started a company, including ourselves, I can think about when I started my previous company, that was in 2005. It took me maybe 3 or 4 years before understanding what it really meant to run a company. If I would have had angels on board that early on, which I couldn't find any in Sweden, that would have accelerated the growth so much faster. I would probably have built a even more successful company.
To add to it, Eric, if the level field is a lot more global also than it was today, and we see more category leaders trying to emerge up, and I think that's also where a lot of these angels will be able to add value, to be a link that understand what VCs are looking for. My background is far from this operational background that we have here, but it's a VC background, and working with angels side by side to see how do we take this company forward? How do we make sure that the company's raising enough money? How do we make sure that the companies are working towards the goals that we want them, that everyone wants them to achieve, and getting products out there that their customers ultimately will love?
One of the things which I also think is a unique dynamic of being an angel collective and not a fund, because we're not a fund, is that we don't have anybody to report to. So if we find an amazing company that we are not passionate about, we can just say no, because we don't know how to help them. And the good part of that is that we're actually passionate about the ones we invest in, which is a huge difference. It's not that, yeah, okay, I'm the person on the board because, yep, I don't care about you. So we said no to deal last week, which is that was a good deal, but none of us could even we didn't get excited enough. And I think that's a great thing for the ecosystem, finding that investor who actually gets excited and can help out.
You're all entrepreneurs. Can you, and especially you, Hampus, you told about the emotional struggles and everything. Can you share what were the biggest struggles you had along your way when you were building the companies that you did?
I think that, at least for me, it's I have founder's imposter syndrome. I constantly think I'm completely worthless. I wake up every morning and think that somebody today is just going to say, hey, what are you doing? You can't do that. And I still have it. I still have it till the
How do you think I feel?
But it is horrible, and I think most founders have that. And I think the other thing is, by being a founder, you're very, very alone. I think that's horrible. Even if you have co-founders, you can feel very alone. And probably a lot of times you're squeezed between your employees and between your investors, and you can't tell anybody the truth. And the only person you can tell the truth is the person who's going to ask you to quit your job, which is your spouse. So that's a really bad situation.
I think what you're also talking about is the attitude around the collective. It should also embody this kind of new sharing and more open approach, which is probably quintessential Nordic. So there is actually also a vision or a passion to drive a collective like this in a way that embodies some of the values that we see. It's not just fluffy values, but also works from a business point of view. Sharing, opening up, building on relationship, things that you can do within a region.
I think that was actually the tone when we met the first time, is that we had this general pay-it-forward attitude. So we've done quite successfully on our own, but there is this notion that we have to bring that to the next generation. So I think that's the tone for any investment we do also, that we want to help the next generation of founders, next generation of startups. I think a key aspect also that we actually have critical mass to hang on to the startups for a longer time, right? To actually aid them before they get into the hands of VCs and further on, which to most startups actually is a good thing. So I think we have this, we're bridging some kind of a gap with the critical mass that we have as a collective also.
And one of the things I'm hoping for by having the two amazing Reboot guys, I hope that and with over 100 previous investments and in this in this too. I really hope that we can create like a reboot for founders and not not competing with Slush, but really just making something very casual and being able to share those. And we've talked about it a lot, and it's not an easy thing because founders are busy. So that's another thing we're like thinking about, how to actually help founders more than just being one-on-one with them. Cool.
How about the story behind Nordic Makers? Whose idea was it? How did it come live?
I think it was just
a thing we can recall, right?
No, it was a constant discussion over a lot of times. It was actually the nice thing about it is I think that, we started meeting up every month and actually talking about, like Thomas said, we talked about values. We didn't talk about co-investing. It was more like we've all co-invested previously in some kind of fashion. So we just met and like somebody said, I just met this deal and the terms are just crazy and everybody's like, wow, we got to figure that out and like what's this going to be? And then month after month, it's just like, what are we going to do? And then suddenly one said, I met this startup. And it's like, I'm in. And it's like, yeah, maybe we should do something here.
It's a thing.
Yeah. So the MVP was very vague.
Right.
Still work in progress.
David,
Yes.
how about you regarding the role of angel investors that you skipped that we're going to have as a final note?
I've had great angel investors in my company, and they've been mentors, and I've really learned a shit ton from them. They've been very high-level people. They did big things in the past, and the wonderful thing about that is, you can meet smart people on the street as a founder, and they can help you, and that's wonderful. You should always be open to that. But at least in my career, like I met people that had been on such a high level, they'd done really big companies, and they sort of could, keep with me for a long time as I was growing my little company into something bigger. And they still kind of know stuff I have no idea about. That's been really healthy. I hope we can replicate some of that here.
Good. And lastly, what do you feel? You guys are all, entrepreneurs of this generation, this like internet age. Is there a difference between you guys and maybe the angels of like, that made their success stories maybe 10 years earlier?
I think the difference is, and what we're also really trying to change is, we need to get angels to get active entrepreneurs to become angels much faster to get our ecosystem to run, right? The craft and the practice around how you run a startup nowadays is evolving so fast, right? So having somebody that built an ERP software company in the 80s might be relevant from a cash standpoint, but not really from an experience or connectedness or network standpoint, right? And for me, I'm still highly operational every day. For me, like Nordic Makers is a way to actually keep on doing angel investments while still being sort of super operational in my startup on an everyday basis, right? To start out in 23, the time is now, it's super fast, everything is happening, but Nordic Makers is a way to still keep on angel investing instead of stopping, right? And I think we need the next generation to keep investing pre-exit, they need to start investing, right? To bring that knowledge and experience onwards to the next new generation. And if we do that in a couple of cycles, then we can really catch up with the US very much faster than else, right? So I think, we need any C-level, any founder to start investing, write that €5,000 check to somebody and start relating to your community, right? And start being part of it. And for me, this is not like financial investing, this is like relating, right? And no founder is better than the ecosystem than the person is a part of, right? 20 years ago, nobody believed we could build global companies. We were doing web agencies, right? We were clipping each other's hair, right? Basically locally, right? And nowadays, every 25-year-old believes they can build a big startup that changes the world from day one in the Nordics, right? And that's a huge, amazing change. And we just need to keep stepping up the game.
And what we have to do, and I think if we have one thing we sort of leave, after having done this for many, many years together, is that we need to take the local ecosystems that are really strong. There's so much technology, so many brilliant people, brilliant projects, and like sort of really connect it as fast as possible to the global world. Because in technology, in these dramatic and scary and amazing winner-takes-all markets, we have to bring our companies to the very kind of top, global stage of technology and get them, funded, get them moving really fast, getting them scaling, because otherwise we won't have a local industry and we'll have shit little companies instead of global champions. And I think that's almost the only way to save our kind of, our systems here in the Nordics. We all live here in the Nordics for a reason. Many of us lived elsewhere. We're back because we have to support the system.
Exactly. So guys, these are the Nordic Makers, and for all the entrepreneurs in the audience, they are here for you, right? They want to help out. So it's probably a good idea to, run after them over here since they're all together here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.